Hello and welcome to the Catching Up podcast with Ananya and Katrina, two college friends who are doing their best to keep catching up while pursuing their goals and dreams. We can't believe we've officially hit 10 episodes, so we want to take a moment to pause and reflect, and in this episode we're going to talk about what the journey has meant to us so far and where we want to take it next. But before we get started, Ananya is going to get us started with a quote from Jane Austen's Persuasion.
My idea of good company is the company of the clever, well-informed people who have a great deal of conversation. That is what I call a good company. I indirectly just called you clever and well-informed.
Thank you. You're also calling yourself that.
I am also calling myself that.
Ananya, do you remember how we started the podcast idea?
I think I do. I think we were talking for hours, and you were doing something with your YouTube, and we were just talking about so many ideas. And then I think we talked about the show Nobody Wants This, and I was trying to tell you about it. And then I'm like, why don't we do podcasting? Is that how it started?
See, I remember it totally differently. We were talking about like business ideas, and then we were talking about how whenever we would go out in college, you would just like find guys and just like interview them and like be like, what's your 5-year plan? Like you just like grill them on everything. And I was like, oh, you should like turn that into a podcast. And then I think you were like, oh, like what if we did a podcast?
You're right. You're so right. You're so right.
And then you were like, tell me about that show. I still haven't watched it. I still don't really know it.
Yeah. It was a good show. Not the topic I am expert on.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, you're right. I think what I said was part of it, but that's how exactly we started. You're like, do your podcast and go out interview people. I'm like, no, I don't think I can do that. Do you want to do it with me?
Yeah, and then we ended up with this.
Yep.
I forget how we decided on like the topics though. Like on, did we like?
I think it's because we have. Okay, so first we were on a call and we like talked to each other so much that we started like. We instantly knew we were gonna call it a Catching Up podcast because of like how often we called each other to just like check on each other. And so that's why we named it Catching Up. And then with topics and subjects, like I think they evolved as we went kind of, and everything we felt like talking about, we kind of talked about it. And then the first one was just like us talking about each other and how we met, and we kind of wanted to just introduce ourselves to the world.
Yeah, I feel like we were at a very different place when we started it because we had like kind of just graduated, and like you had just started your job. So I think it was like starting with
and then
transition, not like life transition stuff, and then moving into where we are now.
I feel like we both kind of felt lost. And right now we are much more comfortable with that feeling than we were before. And we're like, we're going to talk about it. And there are more people who are feeling like that. And maybe it would help us like get somewhere, find a new direction. And so I feel like that was also
like how you
part
said
of it.
That we're not like, you didn't say like now we don't feel lost. You're like, now we just like are comfortable with it.
We've just kind of accepted that's how we're gonna feel always. Yeah, and it's because we want to do 100 different things, and we are never sure of what we want to do and how we want to do it. And I feel like that's okay, and that's what this podcast is for, so that we can talk about it, about how we feel. What do you think is the most like fun part of doing this and most challenging?
I think the fun part is recording them. Like, I think that's the most fun part in general. Like, podcast recording is like 3 or 4 hours, and then the actual podcast is like 15 minutes.
Yeah. I agree. It's really fun. And I feel like it helps me wake up too. Like, okay, I'll get to talk to her and like, we make our coffee and have food at the same time. And so
Yeah.
recording is really fun. And also just like talking about things and then figuring out that what I remembered was wrong and she knows the real story.
I feel like that has happened multiple times.
Yeah. I don't have good memory as much as I think I do. I don't.
That's
And
okay.
I'm
Or
always saying
maybe
wrong
I just don't
things.
have a good memory and I'm just convincing you that mine is right.
Oh no, 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 no. When you tell me, then I recollect everything. So you're right.
Okay.
You're on the right
Okay.
track. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Cool.
do feel that that's the most fun part for me too. And then when we did like the analytics and how international our listeners were, I think that was also very fun. It's like, I don't know anyone in what country was it?
It was like Ireland, Canada, like Sweden or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
India, like yeah, I feel like the US, India, Canada, like those kind of make sense. Like Ireland, based on the people that we know, but
Yeah.
like who do we know in like Sweden or wherever?
Or even Canada. Like there were at least two, three countries where we had no idea. But that was like
Yeah.
really rewarding that there are people listening who we're not even trying to reach out to. And that we haven't done any marketing, the audience size was pretty good.
I feel like we just do it because honestly, it's like kind of habit at this point. Like
Yep.
we just like get on every Sunday, every other Sunday, and record in the morning, and
Yep.
then
Posted
edit,
on Fridays.
post.
It's like a
Like
routine.
yeah, it is routine. I was,
Mm-hmm.
I think I was telling you, I was like watching this class on YouTube and stuff, and they were talking about, oh, if you have a podcast, like here's how to manage your podcast. And I was listening to it, and as I was listening to it, I was like, well, this doesn't apply to me because I don't have a podcast. And I was like, wait, I do have a podcast.
I remember that. Oh, how can you forget about this?
Yeah,
What's
it's
the
just like
most
habit at
challenging
this
part?
point.
Yep.
Most challenging part, I would say the most challenging one that we've done was like we had started recording, I think it was like our second episode or something. And
Yep, I
the one
was
that
I
we
was gonna
actually
talk about it.
posted, the one that we actually posted is not the original one that we had planned. We had planned on talking about like
Yes.
success and failure. And then as we
Yes.
were doing it, we were like on it for like an hour or something. And it just like wasn't going well because we were realizing like we both don't deal with failure very well.
I'm like, oh, I didn't fail.
Yeah. It was like
Yeah.
somewhat of a therapy session, like a rough therapy session, not like a like I feel like you could have some podcasts that are it was.
Rough, like we had no idea where we won in life and where we failed either. Like it was just we were just waiting and thinking and we're like, we can't do this topic. And it sounds like such an easy topic to talk about successes and failures in your life, but it wasn't. And I think that's the challenging part, that sometimes you feel like you can talk for hours about a topic, but it's not a topic like that. And it has happened a couple times where we're like, "Ah, there's not a lot we can talk about it," or like we weren't the most enthusiastic. We still have the podcast out, but it was kind of a drag. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that particular one like was a good conversation, but it was like so messy that we were just like, let's not post
Yeah, we
this.
cannot
And it was
post
also
it.
like kind of we're also like figuring stuff out while
Yeah.
we were doing it.
Yeah. And I remember in one of the podcasts I said, we're not the most enthusiastic today. Why do you think this is happening? Are we not happy with our lives or what?
Which one was that?
I think that was the one, right, that we recorded instead of the successes and failures. It was the same day, but we were just like not feeling it that day. So I think that's the challenging part. You don't wake up every day, every Sunday feeling like talking and doing the podcast, because some days you're happy and you can talk about you're not that reflective to talk about a reflective topic, and then some days you're just too sad to be optimistic and be fun.
Yeah.
Like that hosting part, I don't know. I was a little drained And we recorded it before Thanksgiving, and I'm like, I just need a break.
Yeah, we were probably
we
both
were
a
a
little
couple.
burnt out at that.
Yep.
Right before Thanksgiving is like,
Yep. But the fun part is that we showed up, and I think it's a reward for ourselves. So next time we do successes and failures, this is one of the successes.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like consistency.
Consistency. And it is extremely rewarding. And one of the biggest part of why I feel confident today is because I've been consistent with at least one thing in my life.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like it definitely helps that we're doing it together, because if I were doing it by myself, I don't know that I would have gotten this far. But like, I know
agree.
you're expecting me to be doing it, and I'm expecting you to be doing it.
Yep. I literally woke up like 10 minutes ago, and then before that, I've been texting Katrina every 5 minutes. Hey, can I sleep 5 minutes more? Please, 5 more minutes.
But you know you have
Please
to do
don't hit
it.
me. Yep, but I know that I have to do it, and I have to show up because you're going to show up. And you're going to be all nice and ready. Yeah, I don't like to make you wait, so I'm going to be on time next time.
Okay.
What are some biggest lessons that we have learned from making these first 10 episodes?
I think the biggest one is probably consistency, because maybe like a little bit of consistency and accountability, because I feel like I said earlier, like if I were doing this myself, I feel like I would have gotten bored with it at some point, or just like wouldn't have been motivated, and then would have missed a week, and then would have missed all the weeks after that because I missed 1 week. But because I have accountability and like social pressure from you to do it, also from like all the friends and family who know that we do it and we're posting and are like asking, are you posting today? Are you posting this week? There's just a little bit more accountability to get it done.
And there are at least 10 plus consistent listeners, which you're not sure who they are, but it's for them.
We love you.
But the biggest, yeah, it's the biggest lesson that you always have an audience if you work hard. You always have listeners and viewers and an audience, so you got to do it for them. But also, it's not that easy. Like when we were laughing about, oh, you should do a podcast, or you should do a podcast, like I wasn't aware that it's going to take so much. Like sometimes just working with the tools, your mics, it never works. Like we spend at least 30 minutes. Yeah. We spent at least 30 minutes before starting the podcast just setting things up. Sometimes the camera is not working. Sometimes the mic's not working. Sometimes the AirPods, and it's always messed up. Sometimes my computer just breaks down.
Yeah, and I feel like when you look at a lot of the successful podcasts that have millions of subscribers or listeners, they all have like a whole team doing like the cameras, the sound, the lighting, all of that. And usually the podcaster is like having the conversation, and that's it. But for us, we're doing everything.
Everything. And I've given up on lighting at this point, or the background. We record these too, and they're on our YouTube. So you can see our faces too, but it's going to be horrible for me. Katrina looks amazing, but I literally wake up and I sit on my chair and do it. And she has like whole background going on, which has tulips, and it's beautiful. So so you should check out our YouTube. Do not judge me after.
We also don't use like a ton of fancy equipment. Like we have, like I have a light, and we have the mics, but for the most part, like we're both using our webcams. And so I feel like another lesson with that is just starting with what we have and it not needing to be perfect. Because I feel like both of us are kind of tryhards when it comes to everything, and we'll give like 110%. But for this, it's just like consistency and then like minimum effort to get going, because that's what makes us consistent.
Yep, exactly. And I think another big lesson is like, it's just how much we agree with each other, even when we have like different opinions. And I feel that's how you can communicate with others too whenever you have a disagreement. I think for me, it's like a learning curve when it comes to communication, and we try to make it flow a lot, but it's been natural. But when I listen to the podcast, I'm like, wow, we did not agree on that, and it doesn't even look like we're not thinking the same thing. So I think that's another lesson, like the communication and then like the tech. So definitely a good learning experience.
And we got some good feedback on one of our episodes we did on like success as women, because we both had pretty different views on that. But I feel like when we're talking about those kinds of things, we make it more of a discussion than like an argument. And I feel like a lot of people just like make so many things arguments nowadays.
Yeah.
And I feel like
the social media is like filled with you are the wrong person. But nobody is wrong. Everyone is coming with a perspective which can evolve over a period of time or what life stage you're in. But I feel like it doesn't have to be a disagreement, an argument always. And something that I am learning, that not everything has to be an argument, because I'm a very argumentative person.
I know.
Yeah.
You were in debate and...
Yeah. I've picked up from life, but it's not a good skill.
It's useful sometimes.
Yep. All right. Let's talk about some goals. What goals do we, like, where do we see it going?
I do want to hit the 20 podcast mark.
Me too.
And I think we're going to do it. We're like halfway there. Because once you hit 20 podcasts, you're in the top 1% of podcasts just by like sheer number of episodes. So I think both of us are kind of competitive.
Really excited.
High achievers. Yep. So I think we'll get
there. The math. You should call me a nerd when you were one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's one of the goals. Yeah, reaching 20 episodes. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't almost have people, guest speakers, but then I feel it's going to mess up the audio. So kind of figure out if we can have guest speakers and do more of the feedback from people and see how we can improve this. And like now that we know and how it works, almost make it more professional, and then also experiment more with content. I don't know. I have a lot of things that I'm thinking through, but I'm probably going to wake up 5 minutes before and just do it and reach the 20 episodes.
Yeah, and I think this is the point where we can just like kind of experiment with a lot of different things, because like,
yeah,
where do we have like 10 people watching consistently right now? And so
yeah, and almost like
big change.
Start doing social media for it. Do we want to? It's a sacred space right now, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
but
just
what
like,
do you think about guest
because
speakers?
We're guest speakers?
Yeah.
I think guest speakers is a good idea. Like, we should try it.
Yeah. I think we should try
we
one.
We gotta come up with a list.
At least.
Let us know if you want to be on the list.
Yeah. Or if you have something to say. The mic is all yours.
Yeah. Well, that was a little update on where we are at 10 episodes. And before we close out for today, Ananya is going to close with a quote from Daith Banger.
Listening to podcasts, reading a book, listening to an audiobook, and watching films isn't a waste of time. It's how somebody becomes wise. Thank you. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.